At its roots is an ancient art form called poi spinning, which involves swinging a weight on the end of a cord in circular patterns. But for me, it's the future of play, music, and holistic healing. When I first encountered poi spinning, I was in a pretty bad mood. I had torn my rotator cuff, and I was sort of moping around circus practice because I wasn't able to fly trapeze. So when one of my fellow circus performers handed me this pair of socks with rice in the end to spin around in circles, kind of felt like my life was over. It just seemed so lame compared to flying trapeze. But I was hurt, I couldn't fly, so I gave it a try. And the second I started spinning, it felt awesome. Not only did I have no idea why it felt so awesome, I had no idea I was about to spend the next 10 years trying to figure it out. From an underwear convention to the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, I've spun poi in all kinds of places. I've given lessons on the beach, and I've spun flags amongst columns. I opened a center for poi spinning, where I collaborated with local artists to make equipment like creature poi, which are like dinosaur heads and animals on strings, and hula hoops and stabs. I made videos about poi that were projected on buildings. I wrote an entire master's thesis on poi. And through all this, I slowly began to understand a few things about why poi spinning feels so good. So the sneaky thing about poi is, it's actually a form of play. And play is just a state of mind. So what's play for one person, like going for a run, might be grueling for somebody else. But poi seems to have just the right combination of elements to actually invoke a play state in most people. It's accessible, it's customizable, you can learn to do cool things with it really easily, and it requires a certain kind of focus that pushes all the other nagging thoughts out of your brain. Unless you're trying to give a TED talk while you're spinning poi, which is actually pretty challenging because when you spin, it does kind of demand that you focus on the connection between your mind and your body. And it almost sort of puts you into this trance state. And I think the thing that was hardest for me to understand about what might compel someone to spin one of these things around is that play by definition is something you can do just for the sake of doing it. As adults with busy lives, that's kind of a tough concept, because we have so much stuff to take care of. We have to make money, and we have to feed ourselves, and play usually is not on that same list. But we know from experts in the field that play is actually essential to our lives. It helps us make sense of the world. It's a tool for problem solving. It's a catalyst for physical, social, and emotional development. Play helps us stay healthy, and it helps us stay happy. And even though poi has all of these things going for it, for me, there is still something obvious missing. So when you spin poi, you're instantly creating a rhythm. But unless you light them on fire, and you hear this flame whooshing around your head, they're innately silent. So as not only a poi spinner, but as a musician, and somebody who's kind of scared of spinning fire, it's obvious what had to be done. And thus, the Orbitar was born. Through many years of experiments, and different iterations, through trials and errors and successes and plenty of failures, the most recent being the Orbitar flinging it into my laptop screen and destroying it while practicing for this very TED Talk. A new multimedia instrument was born. The way it works is that the poi send data to a computer about things like how fast they're going and their orientation. And that data can be used to generate brand new audio, or it can be used to modify existing audio. And the glove acts as it can control your performance parameters. So you set it up ahead of time, really to do whatever you want. It can add effects, or it can change the lights, or it can move through different movements in your performance piece. So to me, combining these things, poi and play and music, really has limitless potential. Because just like play, we know music is really good for us. It can alter your breathing and your heart rate,